Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Let's get down to the work. Do you feel inequality in your daily life? Please look at this table. This data from the Public Opinion Poll on a Gender Equal Society was carried out by Cabinet Office in 2019. Asked about how they feel about gender equality through our society, 21.2% of respondents felt that women and men receive equal treatment, while 74.1% felt that men are being given privileged treatment. We can understand that many people feel that men and women are not equal in our social lives in Japan. Actually, there are various gender issues in society. For example, in Japan, many women are quitting their jobs after pregnancy or childbirth. The reason for this may be that the stereotype that women are responsible for childcare remains and that it is difficult to return to society. This graph shows the amount of scheduled wages. According to the Basic Survey on Wage Structure 2021 by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, compared to full-time employees in the same age group of 55 to 59 years old, the difference is more than 10,000 yen. Next, we prepared a table showing the low percentage of women in parliament. The percentage is the lowest among the G7 countries, and we can see that it ranks low in the world. We believe that gender equality should be achieved. However, what I have just described is still happening. Even though many people are aware that these are serious problems, why do they still exist? Let's think deeply with us. Claire will explain to better understand these issues.
Previous speaker's introduction. Hi, I'm Claire. After the introduction, I hope you can have a basic understanding of this topic. So next, I'm gonna show you some observation both in Japan and Taiwan. First of all, I would like to share with you a statistic of the 2021 Gender Gap Index from the World Economic Forum. The report points out that Japan ranks 120th in the world, also the last country in the G7. And this situation can be reflected in the social status quo. For example, in Japan, women are encountered many difficulties and obstacles to be promoted in the workplace, such as the gender ceiling effect or marriage and childbirth. At the same time, because men receive more preferential treatment in society, women's rights are more likely to be violated. In Taiwan, almost all of us need to do physical fitness tests while in school, but there are different standards between boys and girls while running tests. Girls would be asked to run 800 meters while boys need to run 1,600 meters instead. After all these years, we may think that is a normal standard, but according to the International Association of Athletics Federation's records, the men's best marathon times is 2 hours 1 minute and 9 seconds, while the women's is 2 hours 14 minutes and 4 seconds. The half marathon records is 57 minutes and 31 seconds for men and 1 hour 2 minutes and 52 seconds for women. After calculation, the difference in physical fitness ability between the sexes can be roughly classified as about 10%. However, the Taiwanese government requires boys to cover twice the distance. If men are inherently twice as good as girls in physical ability, this requirement is indeed reasonable. But they have only 10% more advantage than girls. It seems not a wise restriction to complete another 100% distance with a 10% advantage. To sum up, no matter what happens in Japan or Taiwan, it is inseparable from one of the reasons, and that is gender stereotype under the influence of the patriarchal society for a long time. In the past in Japan, it was believed that women should take care of family affairs at home and men would make money to support the family outside, which led to the long-term suppression or bullying of women's social status. On the other hand, Taiwan has a deep-rooted and solidified idea of masculinity, believing that men are much stronger than women, so the government set such unreasonable regulations. Even though it's a serious topic in many areas, but still, there have objections around the world. Then my partner Serena will share with you this opposing argument.
Hi, I'm Serena. Even though the arguments Claire mentioned before have some evidence, many people still have the opposite status toward this position. They even dispute the existence issue of gender inequality since they believe it to be a natural part of their culture. For example, in the Middle East area of urban region, those Muslims force women because of the current and the long-term accumulation of cultural customs. If so, does it matter to change this situation? After all, this is how the society works. These problems may not cause a huge issue now, but thousands of females suffered in the past because of these unreasonable customs. The World Health Organization reports that 1 in 3 women experience physical or sexual abuse from an intimate partner. This number has remained largely unchanged over the past decade. The personal safety study conducted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics also reveals that women are potentially more likely than men to encounter violence, and these are evidence of inequality between men and women. Many people will also doubt the issue of whether it is truly necessary to face up the problem of equal rights for men and women. Will gender equality evidence our society? The answer is yes. First of all, gender equality is good for business and the economy. When girls and women get equal education and job opportunities with men, all society benefits. Studies shows that a diverse workplace is a more productive workplace, and that diversity includes gender diversity. Equal education and jobs also significantly reduce poverty rates, lifting an entire nation and improving its GDP. Second, gender equality fosters peace. Violence disrupts society at every level. Gender inequality is the source of a lot of violence. As I mentioned before, gender inequality is the root cause of violence against women. Improving equality of girls and women can reduce the amount of violence and provide security of those who are vulnerable. Gender equality is good for everyone, including children and all gender people. Men experience great pressure because of the restrictions placed on them by tradition, which causes them to lose themselves and be unable to live up to their aspirations. The introduction of gender equality will not only elevate women's position and lessen violence, but it will also free men from the constraints of tradition and allow them to pursue what they want. It also improves business and the economy. Although research shows that the world has a long way to go to achieve gender equality, we've made enough progress to observe it improve.
I will now summarize our presentation. In the introduction, Yuzuki showed you our position on gender equality with some figures about gender inequality. In the main part, Claire showed you detailed information about gender inequality with some examples in Japan and in Taiwan. And Serena showed you the opposite position on gender equality with an example in the Middle East area or Arab region, and refuted such positions. What are the benefits taking on our position on gender inequality? One of the benefits is we can do whatever we feel like to do with no worries. As mentioned previously, gender inequality sometimes restricts actions and rights. By achieving gender equality, restricted actions and rights are liberated. For instance, working environment will change for the better. Now, gender inequality still happens frequently around the world, but if we start with even a small movement, we can surely change these situations. So it's necessary to think gender inequality is a quite serious problem. Thank you for watching our presentation.